Hi, I'm Lou Scott, and this is the Geppetto Room, where you don't have to be creative to be creative. You just have to be you, because we're going to be discussing ideas, techniques, concepts to help you make better decisions, transformative decisions that will enrich the way you live, the way you work, and the way you play. Now today, my special guest, and she's very special, here before, is the Executive Director of the Parent-Child Center of Rutland County. And she's going to be talking about all the things, all the deliverables that the Parent-Child Center delivers to the community. And she's going to tell us about a special community feature. Now, every time I think about the organization Parent-Child Center and Mary Feldman, a quote comes to me. I don't know, it may be Mother Teresa's quote, but I want to read you that quote because it kind of sums up who they really are and what they do for the community. Here's the quote. I can do things you cannot do, and you can do things that I cannot do. Together, we can do great things. And that's what PCC does, Parent-Child Center, does great things. Think about it. Think about it. Here, let me tell you, they have children daycare, they have parenting classes, they have transitional housing, they issue food, they deliver thousands of meals in a month, they have high school accreditation, they have nutritional instructions, they can not interfere, but mediate family trauma. They relate to the people that are most needy, the most vulnerable in our community. And they deliver experiences and products and things that they do, unbelievable, I think, the contribution. Today, they're going to be talking about One PCC Place. That's where they're going to organize a central headquarters in a seamless way that they're going to deliver all those benefits. And not only those, being seamless, what's going to happen is the benefits will be delivered more convenient for you, be better for you, and they'll be expansive. And that'll be opening, and Mary's going to tell us about One PCC Place, and she's going to tell us about the people she has to thank and the events that open, okay? So before I introduce her, let's watch a few seconds of what the building looks like. It's not finished, not complete yet, but give you some idea of what One PCC Place will be. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Lou.
Thank you for coming again and so forth. And we're very anxious to hear about Parent-Child Center and One PCC Place. Tell me about it.
Well, Lou, One PCC Place is basically one-stop shop for the whole family to come and have their needs met as they're raising their children. One PCC Place is a community hub. And I like to think of it as not just a place for needy people, but for everybody who's trying to raise a child today. So at One PCC Place, it's an intentional community where on one campus, We have
An intentional community?
Yeah, it's an intentional place for people to come together. And I think that post-COVID, there's been an incredible sense of isolation that's taking place, right? And so the timing for One PCC Place couldn't be better. So people can come to the Parent-Child Center at our new campus, and at that one campus, there is early childhood education, there is our food shelf, which everyone qualifies for, it's not income-based. We have classes in cooking.
Do you have an exact number of how many dinners actually that you give away every month? I know it's a phenomenal number.
Well, currently our food pantry serves 200 families, and so that's roughly 40,000 uncooked meals per month. But
40,000?
uncooked.
But it's 40,000 meals.
Yeah.
Ah.
And then at One PCC Place, we have a beautiful state-of-the-art kitchen where we will be providing over 2,500 cooked meals per month across our programs by our chef Molly.
To whom? To whom? To people who are at the One PCC Place?
To children.
Dinners available?
To children, to people attending our parenting classes, to community members such as yourself who would love to come and have a great lunch at the Parent-Child Center.
And I could stop in at the Parent-Child Center, One PCC Place, and have dinner or lunch, and just when I feel like.
Well, not when you feel like it, but we're going to have an open community lunch for community members at large to come in and to enjoy the beautiful space.
Well, that will happen periodically.
It will happen at least once per week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
you can have an invitation for people to come in one per week.
Once per week will be a community luncheon for.
How are you going to promote that? Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram. Okay. And then additionally, we're also having, for instance, we're going to have AA meetings and NA meetings with childcare. And there's a food component to everything. I'm very big on feeding people. I think that food and breaking bread together is a great way to equalize the playing field. And one of the things that you mentioned in that quote is, I have something, you have something. And so at the Parent-Child Center, we don't believe that we're offering you a social service by looking down at you and saying, here's what we're going to give to you. We sit across the table, and in our relationship together of gaining a service that's needed to raise a child, either it could be early intervention, it could be food pantry, it could be early childhood education, that we come together and we solve these problems together.
So when you come together like that as equals, as equal people who are in need, whatever they might be, you're making the client feel more comfortable. He's going to be more open with you, and the results of what you're delivering will be better because he's not so on guard. You're not a bureaucratic department. You're like him, and you're here to help them.
Absolutely. Somebody said to me this morning as I was having coffee with her, she said, I have problems. And I said, everybody has problems, right?
Yes.
So everyone has problems, and it's difficult to raise children. And so we really want to normalize the process and move away from the isolation that people feel in raising their children. So we want to put all of our services on the table. Everybody qualifies for Parent-Child Center services. It's built into legislation, that the work that we do. We have play groups. We were going to have sensory-friendly play groups at the One PCC Place.
And the contact you, we're going to, of course, the screen now is a contact number and so forth. They can contact you anytime.
Sure.
To avail themselves of all those deliverables.
And we don't have bankers' hours. No offense to our banker friends, because we have really good banker friends at M&T Bank. But the hours that we have are I call them family hours. For instance, when I was a working mother, I couldn't do play groups with my child because the play groups were only offered during the day. So all of our services are during extended hours. We open early, we close late. And if you're
you stay open when there's a need to stay open.
Correct.
Yeah,
we have family hours.
So that's more convenient, that's more seamless, and that's why all the benefits you deliver will be more enriched by One PCC Place. Tell me more about it.
The other thing I think that is wonderful about One PCC Place is it's a community space, right? So I think that one of the things that will benefit Rutland is to have a place where people can come together and be together and not be divided based on how much money one person makes, what job a person does, how much social capital, how important somebody is, or how poor somebody is. One PCC Place is a place for everyone in our community to come together and get to know each other and build bridges with each other.
A truly welcoming place.
Yes.
Because it has equality, not only by racial equality, but by interest, by conditions of life. You make it's sweeter. It's a sweet place.
Yes.
It's a homey place.
It is.
And then for a social organization, it seems unique to me.
And even the design of the building is it's not rigid and boxy. When you come in, there's a big foyer, and the foyer is designed to have pockets of seating for people to enjoy each other's company. And then there's a great room that you come into, and there's always coffee and juice and beverages and soup. There's always something there.
Now, we saw some of that in the array, but certainly not when finished. But when you're inviting people to come in there, you're going to be seeing all these. So even the architecture of the place says equal, says welcome.
Welcome.
Let's gather together, and we will deliver deliverables that you may need as equal parties.
It's a purpose-built facility.
Purpose-built facility.
This building was designed and built for the specific intention of providing high-quality early childhood education. We have heated floors for the children. And then on the other side of the building, because the building is divided into threes, on the other side of the building, we have therapy rooms. We have the great room where our programs will be held. And the other thing I want to mention before I forget is that when I say it's a purpose-built facility, it's also designed around our paradigm. And our paradigm that we use to deliver services comes out of the Aspen Institute. It also comes in early research from the 70s about serving, families living in poverty at the time. But we use a 2-gen model. So as part of the 2-gen model, we provide early childhood education. We pay attention and keep our eye on the needs of children in kindergarten through 12th grade. We look at, do all families have a post-secondary or an employment pathways? Do families have their economic needs being met? Is the health and wellness, mental wellness of the family okay? And then finally, we look at social capital, which is the most important thing about what we're delivering. Now, do we do all those?
Let me ask you something, two questions.
But do we?
One is social capital.
Okay, social capital is what I call the secret sauce. Social capital is the glue that holds communities together. And traditionally, like people might think of social capital as their network. And the thing that's important about the Parent-Child Center and One PCC Place is this is a place to diversify social capital. So for instance, it's a place for people to come together and benefit from those relationships with each other.
One other thing in your explanation, when you say 2-gen, you're talking about 2 generations. You're talking about a client who may be a mother or a child, but it's the family. You welcome the family. So you're impacting the family because the family impacts on that individual.
Correct, and
that's the 2-gen idea, 2 generations.
Well, it could be 3, but it's multi-gen. The primary focus is on the family. So
the family.
We provide services to support the child, but if you just support the child and you don't meet those other complex needs of the family, the child doesn't stand as great of a chance of long-term success as if you balance out with the family. So we provide parenting classes, we provide economic supports, we provide meals so that it stabilizes the entire family and they can journey together to the best outcome possible for them.
You deliver all those deliverables, all those good things to the family in a unified place, seamless place. That's I think it's unique. It's certainly transformative.
It is.
The whole idea is it took you a long time to get it.
Yes,
transformative. It did. The whole idea of one other question I have. What do you mean by a therapy room?
Oh, okay. So we have 2 therapy rooms for children who are in our program called Children's Integrated Services. And the Parent-Child Center provides all of the early intervention and developmental assessments for babies, birth or pre-birth, sometimes through the age of 3, sometimes 5. And we make sure that they get their speech therapy, occupational therapy, it might be family therapy. We make sure that the child has everything they need, and that can be delivered on site. So parents who are working don't have to take a day off from work to get the therapy. They can come, go in the therapy room, which is designed like a living room, grab some lunch from the kitchen, and go back to work. And that way the child's getting their therapies and making the developmental progress they need.
So One PCC Place and the Parent-Child Center has expert people that can do that. These are not just amateurs, they're all trained, they're all educated and so forth, and they deliver this kind of specialized treatment or therapy and so forth. As a family, I like the whole idea of helping me mentally and so forth, and then I can enjoy my family. I can eat there, I can sleep there. That's an interesting concept.
We take a holistic approach to the individual as well, right? So we understand at the Parent-Child Center that people aren't fragmented. Education takes place within the whole person.
Is that what you mean by holistic?
Yes, we look at the complex needs of the individual, including mental health and wellness, and then we partner with wonderful agencies in our community to support the work we're doing. We don't do everything. We have good relationships and partnerships with our community to deliver them.
And that's scheduling with the partnership and so forth. You handle all that.
Yes.
And you can handle it in a seamless way because it's all, in your new headquarters, it's all unified.
We have two wonderful programs that work to connect families with what they need in a warm handoff. One of our programs is called Families at the Center, which is funded by the William J. and Dorothy K. O'Neill Foundation. And then another program that we have is called Gaining Ground, which is funded through federally directed spending, thanks to Senator Leahy. And these two particular programs help connect families to all of our agencies in town.
One of the things I like about Parent-Child Center, while you're here too, is transformative. As new problems occur, you develop new problems, you develop new mechanisms, new methodologies, new ways to deliver to alleviate that problem. That's an amazing thing. You just don't schedule something, it just goes on and on and on. You're continually looking at new ways to help the community, and you're getting it funded, and you create these different programs. So what you might have today, you're going to have much more tomorrow and delivered better, more effectively at One PCC Place. That's a fantastic, it's not rote. I like the whole idea. It's transformative. It's new. It's new things happening, and we need new.
The last thing we are, Lou, is rigid. We are not. And I learned a long time ago, I had this grant that came through, and the grant maker gave us the opportunity to make changes to the grant midstream. If something wasn't working, they said fix it, address it. And that shaped my professional thinking a long time ago when I was in Sarasota, Florida with the community foundation there I was working with. So I try to really pay attention to what's working, what isn't working. Nobody planned on COVID, and we had to adjust and shift very quickly. And because the staff at the Parent-Child Center was so adept at being flexible, we were able to step right into COVID and meet the needs of the community.
Well, this is off the particular subject, but one of the things that amazes me is that not only are you the executive director handling all this, managing it, delegating what executive directors do, but you're an outstanding grant writer. That's an outstanding. I mean, it doesn't go together. They don't see the creativity of grant writing with the organizational skills that PCC Place requires. It's amazing to me that you can, and you've been very successful at grant writing for this association. That's amazing to me. You have a lot of talent.
I hadn't planned on writing grants, but it was,
But why not use the talent?
It was necessity.
Necessary.
It was necessity, and
Yes.
I am so grateful for all of the opportunities that grants have provided us with.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's amazing. Now you have people you want to thank.
We have a clean property. We have a certificate of completion for our property being environmentally sound and safe for children to play on. So Stone Environmental,
Which is very important.
Dan Voisin was key. He held my hand through the entire project. Reddick at the time, Lyle Jepson, the city of Rutland, Barbie Spalding. The USDA funded this project, and they have been incredible partners. NBF Architects, Casey Getcha specifically, and VMS Construction, Vic Shappy and Gary and Sean Paquette. Wonderful team. I've heard so many stories about how hard it is to do a construction project, and I look forward to our meetings weekly. They've been phenomenal. M&T Bank. This wasn't possible without Michael Seaver, Chris Hallman, Deb Quirk, and Jody. The state of Vermont. The Conserve Forever Foundation, that was our angel donor. They gave us money when nobody believed in this field of dreams, because it was a field of dreams. And then Senator Leahy and Senator Welch have worked so hard to...
Your field of dreams, people showed up. You built it. You built it, and now people have to show up. That's what we're talking about. The One PCC Place, it was built. It was a dream, but people will come.
It was years, and I felt like for years I was talking about something that only I could see, but eventually everyone came and showed up. And then finally, Phil Alderman and family came in, and they did the heavy lifting at the very end. So it has been phenomenal, and I really need to thank the Rutland County Parent-Child Center staff, because they were vision keepers, and they were also working towards something they couldn't see, but they trusted it would happen.
They were vision keepers. You're just full of all these
Yeah.
vision keepers, the staff who carry out all the real details and so forth.
And the staff who aren't even at the agency now, they kept the vision until they passed the baton to somebody else. And then of course, the people that we are allowed, I have so much gratitude for the people that we serve, because if we couldn't serve our community, there would be no need for this. So our community members are our partners. The babies in our programs, the teachers in our early childhood education program, the directors, everybody.
That goes along with your holistic philosophy that it's not me and you're a client. There's not servitude. You're not a patient, which I never liked that word. We're together. Yeah. We're together, and anybody can use family. It's a family, and now it has a place to go to do all these things.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing about a social service company, a social service organization. One PCC Place is bringing that all together, and so well said and so forth. Are there any concluding remarks that you want to make, or you finish your thank yous, or anybody else? Obviously, there's so many other people you can't mention them, but you're thanking them.
I cannot wait to see the building thriving with people. There are community gardens there. There's a brand new playground, and I also forgot to thank Fabian for the work that their company is providing us with.
So you're going to have a community playground?
It's an entire campus.
Campus for delivering all these benefits that you deliver for the community.
Right, and my dream, and there aren't very many offices in the building, right? The idea is the program is the office for the staff. So my dream is to be lost in the shuffle of all of the energy and commotion, and the families taking over the center as their home.
Families taking over as their home. It's going to get something that you need as a person, and yet it's family. You're very familiar there. You feel comfortable.
Yes.
A comfortable place to gather. And I think that when that happens to an individual who has those needs, he's going to be more receptive to accept it and to follow your advice and so forth, because it's coming from an equal.
Yeah.
And that whole idea of social work like that, I think is innovative, it's transformative. That's why you're here. Anything else?
No, thank you, Lou.
Oh, you got to thank you. Okay, One PCC Place. You know that together, we can do so many great things. And this is a great thing. One PCC Place, when it opens, I just see it, and you attend it, and you take advantage of it, you will be part of something that's truly transformative. And that's what Vermont needs, transformative. A social organization delivering deliverables, okay, and programs, and making up programs that are creating needs, they're looking at needs that happen, continually changing. They're not, what I'm not doing, and this is my old words, they're not solving new problems with old ideas. They're creating continually new ideas. One PCC Place is going to be one of those transformative places that Vermont needs, that Rutland needs very desperately. With that, I'm Lou Scott, And this is Geppetto Room, where you don't have to be creative. You just have to be you. Until next time.